Hey, welcome to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby along with Jeff Gerard and our special guest, Sarah McKendricks. We're going to get into some details, a little bit about some of the organization and some of the details that she brings with us as we get started. But thanks for joining us, Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour, every week at this time. You can go to hometownstation.com. That's hometownstation.com. And you can listen live and take us anywhere you go. In fact, you can be sure to download the KHTS app on your iPhone or your Android device, and now you can listen wherever you go, any place in the world where there is Wi-Fi, and you can also access KHTS News on the go. All right, I'm Arif Halaby, as I mentioned. Jeff Gerard, my regular co-host, Sarah McKendricks. And Sarah, we've been trying to get you on for a little while, so tell me a little bit about the organization that you're a part of.
Yes, well, I work for Christian Legal Aid of Los Angeles. We've been around since 2005. We provide free legal services to very low-income residents of LA County at legal clinics that we host throughout the county at our partner locations.
So Christian Legal Aid of Los Angeles means that if people have questions or if they're actually going into a full-on defense of, let's say, a lawsuit or a criminal matter, does it cross those lines?
Right. Well, we will see whatever legal issue comes through the door. So how we operate is that at our legal clinics, we have volunteer attorneys who come to serve with us, and it's a free walk-in legal clinic. So individuals come with a variety of issues, such as immigration issues, individuals who'd like to get their records cleaned up from criminal matters, family law matters like child custody and support, and housing issues too.
So across the gamut.
Tenants. Indeed, yes. So we do not do ongoing representation, but they will have 60 to 90 minutes to speak with an attorney about their legal issue for free.
And that attorney is usually specializing in that field?
Yes.
So it's somebody, if I say I have a family law matter or something, I can speak to a family law attorney?
Yes. We do try to be able to provide our clients with the proper match of attorneys. However, what we've also done at CLA is cross-trained our volunteers in different areas of the law, so that way they can serve for instance, an attorney who practices family law could potentially help a client who's trying to clean up their criminal record.
So when we come across folks pretty regularly here in Santa Clarita and across the board where we're trying to figure out, hey, what is it going to take to solve a business dispute, that probably comes across your table often, isn't it?
Business is not one of the areas of law that we see quite often. However, we do have a section in our legal urgent care manual for our attorneys to be able to help an individual walk through that process. And many of our attorneys do work on civil litigation. Okay,
so we just received a question from a listener that said, how about powers of attorney? Is that something that you would draw up as well?
That is something that we do have attorneys who are able to do that.
So that's exciting, guys. You can sit down and meet with an attorney. Often, the cost per hour, we have seen from $350 an hour, maybe as much as $500 or more per hour is what these attorneys are charging, because they're volunteering their time. Is that right?
That is correct.
And Christian Legal Aid of Los Angeles, how did it get started?
It was started in 2005 by a group of attorneys and paralegals who really felt the call to do justice in Los Angeles and realized that their faith called them to action. And so it was incorporated in 2005, and we've been holding legal clinics ever since.
What does a legal clinic look like?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they... is there a schedule out online or something?
Yes, you can go to our website at www.cla-la.org for a list of our upcoming clinics. We hold at least once a month, and they're at different locations throughout LA County. So the next one will be in Watts, and then the one following that in September will be in Inglewood. But we go as far up as Lancaster, so we'll be up there in November as well.
So this is a legal clinic. Do you have a specific topic that is covered at these clinics, or is it pretty much open to the public and whatever comes down the road?
It's open to the public. You can walk in with whatever legal issue you have.
And it is almost, I guess, like a mini CLA kind of on the move, a mobile one, if you will.
It is indeed. We bring all of our equipment, so our laptops, our printers, our Wi-Fi access, to really be able to go to the community that is in need.
And any stories that you can share with us that, of course, protect the innocent, if you will, but Any stories that where Christian legal aid has made a difference?
Yes. In fact, there was one individual who came to an office hour appointment in downtown LA, and she was really distraught because she was struggling with some mental health issues as well that had really caused her in the past to do some things that she wasn't very proud of in her life. And yet being able to sit down with her and look over her record, we were able to encourage her and be able to help fill out paperwork that was able to help her go to the court and get that record expunged.
So there is an opportunity to get things expunged off your record. How does that work in the city or the county?
Right. Well, in Los Angeles County, if you have a criminal history in your background, you can go to your local courthouse and get your record from the court, your docket, and you can come to one of our clinics and we can assess to see if there are any legal remedies available for you to get a dismissal. So that way you'd be able to clean up your record, and this really helps our clients who are struggling to find employment.
You know, as a former policeman, a retired Los Angeles policeman, I can tell you that I think evil truly does exist in the world. I've seen it. You've seen some people do some pretty bad things, and it's not just a moment in time or, a lapse of judgment. I mean, we've seen some pretty not so nice things. But at the same time, on the other side of it, you have decent, honest, honorable human beings that just make a mistake. And that happens where probably, I'm sure more often than not. And that's got to be a big chunk of these folks that say, hey, listen, when I was 18, I forged a check, or when I was 21, I had a DUI, but it's now been 15 or 20 years. Is there a timeline? If it's a misdemeanor or felony, a timeline to say before these can be expunged? And because this affects people getting a job. This does. Affects them planning for their retirement, their financial future, because now there's a whole list of jobs that they can't apply for and licenses that they can't receive.
Absolutely. There are some requirements, so you'd want to be off of probation or parole, but typically if you're able to come to a clinic, we can assess each person's case individually. And
some probably a reestablishment of character.
Yes.
Hey, that was a mistake, here's who I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you seeing with maybe some of the most common problems that come across Christian legal aid that you guys seem to solve? Is there kind of a majority of them seem to be something?
I would say a simple drug possession, which now there has been a remedy that's come out for that, Prop 47. It could be charged as a felony and someone could have served prison time, but now individuals have until November 2017 to submit an application to get that reduced to a felony.
To a misdemeanor?
I'm sorry, yes, to a misdemeanor. Thank you.
So if it's reduced to a misdemeanor, then that means eventually that can lead to expungement.
It can indeed.
So I see the trail that our liberal legislature has gone down. Prop 47, I think they're even trying to repeal that as we speak. It has some wonderful benefits, but also some crazy stuff in there, I think.
Yes.
So November 2017. That's important, folks. November 2017 is going to come.
That's right. It's right around the corner. And I think this is a great point to make, because so many people let this fall off the radar, and then they don't think that they're ever going to apply for a job that requires a state license or something of where they have high clearance or something like that, or a need for that, and then they're basically disqualified before they even get to shake hands with somebody and get any face time. It's kind of a sad thing. So I appreciate seeing something like this out there and able to be basically used by anybody. Think about how many people just say, I'll never talk to an attorney because I don't have $500 an hour, or I'll get 15 minutes and what can I accomplish with that? And here you guys are giving 30, 90 minutes of FaceTime with an attorney. That's great.
And when you set up that follow-up, do you give them a referral and say, okay, here's the type of attorney that can assist you, or here's the room number at the courthouse of X in order to get things off the ground?
Yes, we provide our clients with an individualized action plan.
Nice.
So we're able to let them know what courthouse they need to go to, where to file. They can call call us back if they have any more follow-up questions. And if it's an issue that does need ongoing representation, we do provide referrals for them.
So it sounds like you're walking the client through this, not just taking this on as though if I were to walk in as a client and retain an attorney, they would basically do all the legwork. They would just tell me when I need to show up and sign a piece of paper or bring another check, right? But in this case, you're actually walking them through it, and they're learning through the process as well, correct?
They are indeed.
Okay.
And I think the benefit to this, guys and gals, is it takes the responsibility. Instead of you being this lifelong victim, and we have seen it, right? You have lines of people around the corner and protesting in our streets, some of them, that are lifelong victims. And the idea is to remove that it's happening to me and saying you can now make a difference and change. I think that's important because the financial system that we all have saved and planned for is a proactive one. In other words, if you save, you work, you retire, you can do things, but it's you getting off your fanny and doing it. And that seems like there is a bit of a responsibility for us as citizens, if we want to make some changes, that we have to get up, we have to follow the action plan, follow through with the way that it's supposed to be. What's the soonest time after maybe probation or parole that you can see that somebody, it's probably probation obviously if it's a misdemeanor, but if somebody's going through and saying, I finished probation last year, when can they get that expunged? Is there a shortest time frame that you've seen?
They can come right on in and fill the paperwork and submit it right then and there.
And is it usually like an initial decline and then they fight that upside down regularly, or is it sometimes we get a first home run here?
Yeah, sometimes it's a first home run.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And why do you do this? Tell me about you.
Oh, yes. Well, I do it, I think, for the same reason why CLA exists in the first place. My faith really calls me to serve. Justice is dear to the heart of God, and so often I know I personally tend to try to ignore the vulnerable and those who I, based on my own judgments and I suppose misperceptions and think preconceived notions about individuals. And so to be able to sit in front of a client and speak to someone face to face and hear their story really humanizes them, as well as helps me to see how much God loves them and how much God loves me in that interaction.
And your professional training. Tell me about your background.
Yes, well, I am an attorney. I went to Pepperdine University School of Law, and so
that little school. That's just
that little school in Malibu, overlooking the ocean.
Yeah,
it's kind of close to the water, isn't that?
Right. So, yes.
That's an honor. That's an honor to go there. That's great. Good for you.
It is.
And went there. Did you have an idea that this is the direction you wanted to go when you graduated?
I did. I went into law school knowing that I wanted to do public interest work and to help serve those in need. And so when I went to Pepperdine, it offered me wonderful opportunities to do that.
So here we have Sarah McKendricks, Director of Christian Legal Aid of Los Angeles, a volunteer organization where attorneys get together from various backgrounds, and they offer free legal advice, if you will, direction, even an explanation. I want to say almost an interpretation, because the law is written by you people so difficult that most of us in the normal world can't really understand it, and you need another attorney to interpret another attorney's words. And if you're somebody that comes from a background where you've had a mistake, my favorite is this expungement. I think that is, as somebody who's put a lot of people, especially a lot of drug users and possession, in prison for a very long time, some of them. There were some of them that were just decent guys and gals. I didn't control that part, of course. I was just a piece in the system. But there were some that just wrong place, wrong time. And you hope that some mercy was shown to them down the road. It wasn't my responsibility at that time when you're on the front end of it. But today it seems like it's a big part of the American story. Is a redemption, is a second chance.
Absolutely. 1 in 3 Americans today have a criminal record. So it's not uncommon.
3, 4. There's 4 of us sitting in the studio. Justin, I could totally tell when I saw you, it was the beady eyes. We'll be back in just a minute. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby, along with Jeff Gerard and special guest Sarah McKendricks. Your place for news, talk, and information. This is AM 1220 KHTS.